I set out to make a little video on Hollywood and all the corruption and pedophiles and rapists in Hollywood, and it turns out there are just way too many. It's gonna have to be a little series, I guess. First and foremost, if you didn't see my last video, Finding Feldman's Molester, well, it was confirmed by Corey on Twitter. That's one exposed. Maybe not a big one, but it's one. You know, everyone counts. So I saw this video not too long ago that this chick put out for her English class. I thought she did a great job, and she did it for a school project, which I thought was pretty cool.
Fame in Hollywood has always been idolized by many young aspiring entertainers. Most child actors look forward to the glamorous lifestyle and popularity that will accompany their fame in Tinseltown. However, life in Hollywood is not as glamorous for young actors as most may imagine. Not only does fame in Hollywood increase popularity, but due to many cases of pedophilia in Hollywood, child actors may also be at a higher risk of being sexually molested by influential adults in their life.
My thing is this, it's not just Hollywood's dirty little secret, it's the world's dirty little secret. This is something that's been going on not just in Hollywood, but everywhere. People are afraid to talk about it.
But one of the things you and I were talking about in the makeup chairs a few minutes ago was you and I have been talking about this for 18, 19 years, something like
exactly.
that. And now people seem to be listening finally. It's getting frequent enough. Now, back then, when we first started talking about this, you remember people saying, oh, well, people are just talking about it more now. It's always been around.
Exactly.
Now, this Marty Weiss, apparently he used to teach private acting classes at his home. Parents would drop their kids off and wait outside.
Reported in the Los Angeles Times news article, Martin Wise, who ran his own talent agency, was charged with 8 felonies for sexually abusing one of his clients a few years back. The victim claims he was about 11 or 12 when the abuse began, and it lasted for 4 years. He also claims he was forced to have sex with Wise 30 or 40 times within this period. After Wise stopped managing the victim, he went on to place children in roles on popular shows and movies such as iCarly, Parenthood, Jack and Jill, and the Muppets movie.
A reporter talked to Weiss's neighbor. Watch this.
Marty would just say they were in there watching movies or whatever. They go out bowling. I never got a weird feeling. Never, never, never. You know, Marty always said he was just a big kid at heart. That's a horrendous thing. It's sickening when you think about that. You know, and I'm kind of upset with myself that I never suspected it.
Marty Weiss also abused Corey Haim.
From choreography, Feldman also wrote about Haim spending time with Martin Weiss, a well-known manager of child actors, while they were filming The Lost Boys.
Now, you guys just saw in a piece a moment ago that they had arrested a guy, Jason James Murphy, who had worked with kids as a casting director, and he had a history as a registered sex offender. And director J.J. Abrams was the one that found out about that.
There's a good chance they do not see themselves as being a pedophile. Jason Michael Handy, however, does. Handy was a production assistant for one of the nation's most popular kids' TV networks, Nickelodeon. According to the Los Angeles Times article, Handy described himself in his private journal as being a pedophile, full-blown. Yet he volunteered at a local church to work with 6-year-olds and frequently snapped photographs of children playing in a nearby park. His job at Nickelodeon allowed him to see child actors on and off the set, and allowed him to exchange information with them. It was then found out that he sexually exploited 2 very young aspiring actresses. After being charged with 2 felony counts, Handy was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Check this next kid out. He's fucking badass.
This video goes out to one Daniel Radcliffe Snyder. If I hear another story of you taking advantage of another teenage girl, I will fly to Nick Studios myself and give you a beatdown personally.
Yo, D, I got your back.
Ariana Grande was actually a girlfriend of mine in the past, and she told me all about you, Danny boy. She told me how you sold Miranda Cosgrove into slavery, and how you cauterized the starved David onto the forehead of babies.
This is why I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
Did she say nice things about me? Because I will tase her if necessary.
Uh-oh.
I have the taser. We haven't had to use it in a long time. But
I said lots of nice things.
So I said nice things about you too.
Oh.
That's going to get on TV.
What?
That's going to get on TV.
I think that's more beyond. Orange? Alright, your official orange from now on?
Okay, there's no more of that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a boyfriend off of this tape.
Let's see what we are. Oh, boy. Yes, I'm the executive producer and the head writer.
I've actually wrote the words we're saying to each other right now.
Victor Ronald Salva is an American film director best known for writing and directing the movies Jeepers Creepers and Clown House. In April 1988, Salva pleaded guilty to 1 count of lewd and lascivious conduct, 1 count of oral copulation with a person under 14, and 3 counts of procuring a child for pornography. During the making of Clown House, Victor Salva asked 12-year-old Nathan Forrest Winters to stay after filming for extra rehearsals. Salva then forced Nathan to receive and give oral sex while he filmed it. Shortly after Nathan told his parents about the incident, Victor Salva's house was raided by police, where they found multiple pornographic tapes, including one showing Salva having oral sex with Nathan Winters. Salva was sentenced to 3 years in prison and was released after 15 months. 5 years after his release, convicted child molester Victor Salva would direct and write his first mainstream movie, Powder, a film produced by Caravan Pictures, a production company owned by Disney. The head of Caravan Pictures, Roger Birnbaum, defended Victor Salva, stating, "He paid for his crime. He paid his debt to society. What happened 8 years ago has nothing to do with this movie." Nathan Winters and others boycotted screenings of Powder, urging people not to support the pedophile that caused him so much pain. Sadly, Winters' words went unheard as Powder made $30 million at the box office, 3 times what it cost to make the movie.
He had this idea about a boy who could touch people, and see how they die.
So you've done a lot of horror movies like Jeepers Creepers, and what is it about horror movies that, I don't know, keeps you interested?
You know, there's something about finding ways to, I want to say manipulate, but what I'm really saying is scare an audience. And there are so many clever ways of doing that. I like to do it without what I call booger eating, which is all the gore and the torture porn and stuff. I like to find ways to get under your skin with doing absolutely none of that.
From the beginning, I remember when I first met him for the audition, it was unlike any other audition because before I even started reading, he spent a lot of time really just talking to me, he made me very comfortable, very relaxed.
But I'll tell them, it's none of your goddamn business. Jesus, Derry! What's this guy trying to do? Just get out of his way. Oh, he's nuts!
So how is it working with this particular cast? None of them are really A-listers, but is there a positive to working with this kind of cast?
Absolutely. I always look for new folks. On Jeepers Creepers 2, that bus full of kids, most of them never did a picture before, and they were all sensational.
Bitch.
Mama's boy.
Daddy's whore.
Dick liquor.
Ball sniffer.
Most of the folks are new, which I find very exciting.
20 years ago, director Roman Polanski fled America rather than face jail after pleading guilty to having sex with a 13-year-old girl. Well, now, reportedly, Polanski may be working on a deal to return to the United States. And for the very first time on television, the young woman at the center of it all is telling her story. Nanette Barusha has our exclusive interview with Samantha Geimer.
I'm Samantha. I'm not, Polanski girl or this girl or that girl. But when you don't tell anybody who you are, I guess, you leave them to call you what they will.
For 20 years, Samantha Geimer has remained silent until now. Fate walked into her San Fernando Valley, California home in the name of Roman Polanski, a man later accused of drugging and raping her, an event that would for 20 years force him into exile and her into hiding. It would change both of their lives forever.
Look, I know it's a very large piece of news for all of you. It's a lot of sensational stuff. But
I knew he was famous. I mean, I knew everybody else certainly thought he was a big deal.
A big deal he was, as the acclaimed actor and director of films like Chinatown and Rosemary's Baby. Polanski had made a huge name for himself in Hollywood. But the Polish-born director also met another side of Tinseltown. In 1969, Polanski's famed actress wife Sharon Tate was brutally murdered by Charles Manson's gang while carrying Polanski's unborn child.
I was hurrying home because apparently I had to go to some kind of school with her.
Despite Polanski's tragedies, he continued to triumph.
How did you learn that you were about to meet him?
I guess my mom probably just told me, you know, he wants to come and take some, photographs of you.
In the early part of 1977, Polanski was commissioned by a French magazine, Vogue Homme, to shoot a glossy spread on little girls of the world.
I found it quite an interesting enterprise because I like the girls of this age.
Through a friend, he'd heard about an attractive young girl living in the San Fernando Valley. Her name, Samantha.
Do you think your mother was excited about the prospect of you being photographed by Polanski?
I'm sure she, thought it was a great opportunity for me.
It was an opportunity of a lifetime for a little girl who wanted to be an actress.
I wanted to be like a movie star.
And to have the Roman Polanski photographing Samantha couldn't have been better for her career, though Samantha says neither she nor her actress mother knew the shoot was for a publication described as a sophisticated French men's magazine. Though Polanski has said in his own biography he thought Samantha was, quote, nothing sensational, he picked her. 7 days later, a test photo shoot was underway near her house. It would be the first of 2 shoots. Reportedly, Polanski asked Samantha's mother not to attend, telling her it would inhibit her daughter.
We sat down, he took some pictures of me. He was giving me instructions, turn your head, look this way, smile, don't smile. And then he asked me to change my shirt. We were outside, but there's no one around, so I turned my back and changed my shirt.
So you took your blouse off in front of him?
Yeah, I turned, but yeah, in my 13-year-old mind, I'm thinking, this is what, when you're a model, this is how you're expected to act, And I was nervous. I was uncomfortable about what had happened the first time. I hadn't told my mom, I think, knowing that she wouldn't let me go. But I was uncomfortable because that made me uncomfortable that he wanted to take pictures of me topless.
In fact, Samantha says she invited a friend to go along on the second shoot, a March 10th, 1977 session that would begin at the home of Jacqueline Bisset and end in one of Jack Nicholson's bedrooms.
I was going to take a friend along, and at the last minute when we were about to get in the car, he said, no, I don't think she should come. And I went off to the shoot, and my girlfriend went home, and Mom thought she was with us.
Samantha says a half-hour photo session fully clothed at Bisset's house put her at ease. Bisset and others were there.
I was outside kind of looking at the view of the valley by the pool. He came out, he took some pictures of me there, and then said we were going to go to Jack Nicholson's house.
Apparently, Polanski knew Nicholson wasn't home. He told Samantha the light would be better there for photographs.
When we were in the car, I think before we went to Jacqueline Bisset's house, he was asking, do you have a boyfriend? He asked me that. Yes. And then he asked me, well, have you had sex with your boyfriend? And I thought, oh, God, this isn't cool. And
what did you say?
Well, I said yes, because I had once. And I didn't want to, I was embarrassed to be inexperienced. I don't know if he asked me how many times exactly, but I told him twice, because I thought once was embarrassing. So I said twice.
Which was a lie?
Which was a lie.
Later at Jack Nicholson's house, more photos were underway, and Polanski offered the young girl champagne.
We took pictures of me drinking the champagne. So I drank a couple glasses even just for the pictures. I think it was after the champagne that then again he asked me to pose topless.
She admits the champagne had left her uninhibited, but after pictures were snapped of a near-naked Samantha in a hot tub,
then he decided to get in the jacuzzi, which is when then I realized, something's wrong here. This is not what should be happening. So I'm thinking, okay, now I'm in trouble.
In a panic, Samantha says she faked an asthma attack and got out of the hot tub.
He follows me in the house, and I was there in my towel, and I was like, well, I need to go home. And he was like, no, why don't you
Samantha says Polanski also offered her a piece of a Quaalude, a powerful tranquilizer, which she took. He told her it would calm her. He also told her,
why don't you just come in here and lay down for a minute? Well, no, it's okay. Come in here. And that's that. And then we were in the bedroom.
And what happened?
He had sex with me.
Do you remember it?
Mm-hmm. He wasn't hurting me, and he wasn't forceful or mean or anything like that. And I just tried to let him get it over with.
Samantha says she did try to object, saying no a number of times. Yet in the end, she was afraid to be more firm.
Did you cry?
I cried after.
When?
After it was all over and I was back in the car.
It was Polanski who took Samantha home.
He told me, don't tell your mom. I think he might have said, it'll just be our secret.
But it would not remain one. Soon after, Samantha's family learned what happened when her sister overheard Samantha's phone conversation with her boyfriend. Authorities were notified, and Roman Polanski was later arrested and charged with 6 felony counts, including rape and sodomy.
Well, I like young women, let's put it this way.
Polanski himself has never denied they had sex, though he has long maintained it was consensual. In a rare mid-'80s interview, he again tried to justify his actions.
And just it went a little bit too far.
I have not much to tell you, except that I'm innocent.
Accusing the famous Polanski of rape, a man known for liking young women, brought with it relentless scrutiny.
And then they later, as far as I know, printed those pictures with the caption, Little Lolita.
Accused by Polanski himself of being a seductress and labeled by the media and the judge as less than innocent, Samantha claims what followed the rape was virtually worse than the actual experience.
I was the bad guy. My mom was the bad guy. We had done something to him, and that's the way, or we wanted money. We wanted something, it was a scheme, and there wasn't a whole lot of poor Samantha going on.
On my part, it was done with all innocence. I have to point out that the girl had testified before the grand jury to previous sexual experiences.
Even in the mid-'80s, in this rare interview, Polanski was defending his actions and seemingly blaming the victim.
But there is the fact that there were other men in her life, and that nobody else had the same problems that I had.
Were you prepared and ready to go to trial if you would have had to?
No. That was the last thing anybody wanted.
In fact, she never had to. For her protection and at the insistence of Samantha's family, all parties agreed to a plea bargain arrangement. And just one day before the scheduled trial, Roman Polanski pled guilty to 1 count of unlawful sex with a minor, the least serious of the charges. Judge Lawrence Rittenband, during a pre-sentencing hearing, sent Polanski to prison for psychiatric assessment. Polanski served 42 days with the understanding that at sentencing he would receive probation only. But according to Samantha, Judge Rittenband decided that time already served was not enough for Polanski. He would have to go to prison.
Thinking he could go to prison for an undetermined amount of time, which could have been up to 50 years, Polanski headed straight to Los Angeles International Airport, where he took the last seat on a British Airways plane and fled Hollywood.
And at that time, I thought there was no more point of endure it, and I just left, as you know. That was quite a splash.
What the fuck? Fucking stoned.
Did she say nice things about me? Because I will tase her.